Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to One Leeds in Florida. Yes, we have our shades on. Listen, we're just getting, it's the weather. Look, it's boiling outside, 33 degrees I think since I last looked, but I'm here with Steve from the Tampa Bay Whites. Been watching the channel for the best part of 5 years. We're going to have to set these off at some point, aren't we? But yeah, we're here doing a watch long tomorrow at, is it the studio?
Studio Public House.
Studio Public House, St. Petersburg, lovely place. And yeah, thanks to Mikey and the gang for letting us film. Steve, first of all, mate, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm thrilled to be here with you, mate, and we are so glad that you jumped on a plane and popped over to hang out with us.
Yeah, mate, 100%. It is the Tampa Bay Whites, everybody. There you go. I think I need to get someone on merchandise for me, to be honest, because this thing, I don't know if you know, I'll put it on screen now if you can't exactly see it, but I'll blow it up. Lovely bit of merchandise, mate.
You're impressed with our design, aren't you?
I'm very impressed. But it's Steve's first podcast, non-surprisingly. But yeah, mate, Leeds United fan in the Tampa Bay area. There's quite a few of you, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there's about 150 of us signed up with a group. They don't always all attend, but there's about 150 of us, which I think is a pretty good support for this area.
Yeah, it feels like it. You know, I was at a game recently, and there was an American fan there, and he was saying it's actually quite surprising how many American fans. Then you guys all showed me the Leeds United Americas group, and there was Colorado, there's Philadelphia, there was New York City. It's mad, isn't it? I know it's fun, like a lot of it's like expats and stuff, but there are a lot of American Leeds fans now, aren't there? And the connection with the 49ers helps a lot.
I think it does, yeah. But I mean, we've had good support here for a while. I mean, it really surprised me how many groups we had when I first got into it. You know, there was Leeds United Americas, and then you had all these subgroups, and I was like, wow, I really didn't know how popular we were, and it just keeps growing. But it needs to grow more with us getting back in the Prem, doesn't it?
It does, mate, and that's why I wanted to do one of these things as well, and hopefully it's going to become a bit of a continuum coming out here and filming with fan groups, because, you know, you guys get in contact all the time, and I see you always on the comment section and stuff. You come out to Orlando. There's a guy who's in Jacksonville, and he's saying, how long are you going to be here for? A guy from Colorado saying he might jump over. You guys out here are fanatical, and sometimes I don't think back home we realise how difficult it can be. I kind of do, because I was in Australia,
right,
and I was having to, like, for like 2 years, and I was having to watch Leeds in Australia, and it's a nightmare. 3 a.m. get-ups, and it was packed full of Leeds fans, packed. And I think it's something similar here, isn't it, across the country, really?
It is. It's it's totally different trying to follow your club, you know, when you're in a foreign country. When I first came out here in like 96, I moved here, and the coverage was very like sparse.
Yeah.
You just get like a game Saturday morning. There was no like match analysis or discussion, pre-game, nothing. It was just the game for like, 2 hours. It was a tenner to watch it, because it was actually expensive. It came from a company in San Francisco, I think, who broadcasted it. I mean, so the pubs had to pay plenty of money for it, and they used to charge a tenner a game. Half time there was nothing. It was just a image of the goal. You got the goal for 15 minutes and nothing. A dog might walk by. That's the most exciting part of half time for us.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was like when I first came out. Previous to that, I was on the cruise ships, and I was on a ship in Alaska for a while. That meant no visual coverage, but a shortwave radio on the top deck of the ship at 9 o'clock in the morning, trying to listen to anything you could get, Leeds, 5 Live, freezing your nuts off. But that's what we do, right?
That's what we do, mate. That's what we do. It's one of those things. It's so weird, football, and how much it takes you away. And even, I'll come back to it again, because it's the only relatable thing I can talk about, really. When I went out to Australia, a year and a half, you do miss Leeds. I think it's, you miss your family when you're away, of course you do. But Leeds United has a odd draw for you, and I didn't expect it to happen, to be honest. When I went out to Australia, when I've travelled before, I miss my family, obviously miss my girlfriend, but then Leeds has just this huge sort of grip on you, doesn't it? And I think that's why we all do so much to try and watch them consistently.
Well, it's interesting that we put it in the same context as our family and our girlfriend, right? But it is. It's very important. Yeah.
So it feels like with everything that's been going on here anyway when it comes to the US fan base, it's really elevated over the past, I don't know, well, it's probably been since Bielsa really, hasn't it? And I think the fan base has definitely got back into proceedings anyway, you know, after Marcelo Bielsa and all this sort of stuff. What do you think, you know, do you think it has just been Bielsa? Do you think it's been the 49ers? What do you think? Or do you think there's just been a collective getting together of Leeds fans?
Well, let me go back further. I think first of all, the interest rose in the States when it was Fox actually. They had a channel called Fox World Sports.
Oh yeah.
And they started proper coverage, like pre-game shows. Ex-players from England were over on the panel. And that really got people interested because they had access to it, you know, properly for the first time. And then with Leeds, it's hard to say. It's just like I meet more and more Leeds fans, and I'm just constantly amazed at how many fans we've got, you know, wherever you go, which is brilliant.
Yeah. It does feel like that. And the reason why I got out the Uber. Another Uber, of which I've decided to tip Ubers, which apparently is the wrong thing to do. So I'm already skinned.
You're just too generous, mate. That's all. You're just too generous.
So I got out the car anyway, and Steve came up to me and we had a hug, and he said to me, "I've been watching you for 5 years," and you don't realise when you sat like a dummy with, you know, you were talking about what you do as an occupation. You can almost you've got that physical thing with someone, haven't you? You can see that they appreciate your work, you have that connection with them.
Absolutely.
When you sat in front of a camera and you've got a microphone in front of you and you're chatting rubbish about Leeds, you don't expect it to connect with so many people.
You're just blind, aren't you, in the position you're in, until you see the feedback and the comments and the chat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy how much. Yeah, do you feel that? Because we were just saying beforehand how you feel it's almost like it's like a mate, isn't it, watching the game? And I didn't realise how big it was, obviously, and then I got into it. Ironically, it was in Australia when I missed Leeds that started it all. Steve, so that's crazy in itself, but it does feel like the online community, you know, with content creators, it feels like there is a friendship there, but it feels like me the other way as well, because like when I see regular people in the comments, it's like, oh yeah, so and so. So it's like this just technology-based relationship, innit? And it's great that we can do this in person.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said to you, like from here, I can tune in to you every day virtually, and it's like having a mate to talk to who's on the front line in Leeds, relaying stuff back to us that we might not know. So it's great, every day hang out with a mate and listen to Leeds.
What is the access like out here then? I mean, you're not in a third world country, but what is the access like? Do you feel like sometimes you don't really have that link maybe that you would do if you were back home?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's not the same as back home, but in some ways it's actually better because obviously we can get the game or any game pretty much live all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they still don't show the Premier League games back in England, the 3 o'clock games. You know, we can get everything here all at the same time pretty much.
Yeah.
And Leeds in the Premier League was no problem at all every single game. It's a little bit patchy in midweek, but Saturdays, weekends, Fridays, good.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem, isn't it, now with like stateside fans? It's probably the fact that we're not in the Premier League. It's two separate problems, isn't it? It's the fact that Leeds aren't in the top tier of English football, which obviously breaks your heart because Leeds United are a Premier League club. But at the same time, it's like, well, access as well. Out here, it's 10 times. And you were just talking about the midweek game, weren't you, against Millwall, where it's difficult to really get on the receiving end of it.
It is, yeah. Generally it is, but so I say weekends, we're good.
Yeah. So why Leeds United then? Why Leeds
Question
United?
Everybody asks me, you know. As you know, you pointed out, my accent is not a Yorkshire accent. But no, I supported Leeds when I was like this high.
Yeah.
I don't think I had any idea where I lived. I just saw this team in white, Leeds, and that was it. It was like, that's my team.
Yeah.
And never wanted to change, never changed. Been through it all, ups and downs, and here we are.
Yeah, it is one of those things, but it does grip hold of you, doesn't it? Was there something? Was it like was it your old man? Was it a family member? Was it a friend? Or was it just the fact that you saw Leeds in a really successful period and you were like, I like that?
It was totally the fact that I just loved Leeds. I loved the colour they played in. I just loved the name Leeds.
Yeah.
And they were my team. I mean, obviously I'm closer to West Ham, but...
Did you have family members who supported West Ham?
A couple. My dad was obsessed with Brian Clough. He loved Nottingham Forest.
Really?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So he must have been elated when he came to Leeds for about 12 minutes.
Well, it was after,
Yeah,
in his Forest days, my dad loved Clough. So, no, it was just purely seeing Leeds on TV, and that was it. I was hooked to the most charismatic team on the planet.
Well, see, you've seen Leeds in very good veins, haven't you? You've seen Leeds win things. I always say this to my old man. You've seen us win things, you bugger. You absolute git. You've seen it. Like, for me, I mean...
Yeah, I've heard you say this before, actually. Yeah,
1993, so when I was kind of getting into conscious Leeds support, my dad had taken me down to the Champions League days, early 2000s with O'Leary's Babes. I think I went to Besiktas. I think there was another one against Grasshoppers, I think. But very vague memories. Yeah, but the real memories were it all started when we were in League One and the Championship and all the turmoil through those days. So
it's better to start at the bottom, mate, because then you appreciate it. When we rise back to the top.
That's it. Yeah. Guys, we're here for part 2 because I needed a top up. Apparently, an Englishman with a little bit of sun. You know what happens. So we're just speaking about heritage, really, and Leeds United heritage. It was interesting because my dad he's got his best mate, Paddy. They went together to school in Leeds, and Paddy's actually moved down to Essex, which is quite funny. And he's moved down to Essex, and Paddy's got 4 kids, all season ticket holders at Ellen Road. All season ticket holders.
More members of the Essex Whites.
Yeah, so there you go. So I think so let us know in the comment section below if you are an Essex White. But yeah, mate, it just feels like it's getting bigger at the minute, and it feels right now, Steve, I don't know if you agree, mate, it feels imperatively to get back to the Premier League.
100%, yeah. I mean, I just can't imagine us still in the Championship next year under the circumstances. Better teams will be coming down for sure. I mean, we are, the best team in the league. Say that with confidence, not arrogance. I mean,
do you think that? Yeah, you think that?
I think we totally are. I mean, you look at all the other teams, it's like, who is better than us? But the most frustrating thing is we are often the best team on paper, but too often we fall victim to the lesser team, executing their game plan better than we do. We play the possession game. We got to break down 10 men all the time. The other teams play a counter-attacking game. They may only get 3 or 4 chances, but they've got a lot of space when they do get a chance. And they nick that one goal or get that set-piece goal, and we lose. They've executed their game plan better than us, even though we are the better team on paper, which we often are. And I believe we are every single game in this league this year.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Because, I mean, I got a lot of flack for mentioning that Burnley, when they played Leeds, they executed their game plan. People were saying, but we were the better team, Connor. I said, well, that's fair enough. We were the better team, but we didn't really do anything. And Burnley came, they set in a low block, they set to frustrators, they set to us on set pieces and a counter-attack. They did that. So in my book, I'm like, well, Scott Parker's game plan worked and Daniel Farke's didn't. And it feels like we're doing okay this season, Steve, I think we're doing okay. But I still think it feels like there's a lot to be desired, really. It feels like we're not in top gear right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. I think as the second half of our season has got to be executed better than the beginning. I mean, as you say, we are okay at the moment. There's been a couple of games that we clearly should have won or, done better in. But again, it's that problem of breaking down the 10 players. You know, we often just move it too slow, and you've said this before. We want to speed it up a bit and get the ball out to James or Nonto, whatever, get it out there quicker. And when we do move it around quickly, we are impressive.
Can't deal with this,
no
can they?
doubt about it.
Can't deal with this.
We play through a team and we look really good.
Yeah.
But we don't do that enough. And, you know, we get these games where they just nick that goal off a set piece, and it's like, again, we're frustrated, you know.
Yeah.
I think we've got to turn those few games around in the second half of the season. We've got to be winning those games.
I think so, yeah, and I think that's fair. I think, you know, this will probably be coming out when there's an international break, which is coming about obviously after the game tomorrow. But it does feel like, you know, the away form, you know, loss, draw at the minute. Home form's good, I think, but I've said this multiple times on the channel before, Steve. I don't think we want to get into a state of which Leeds are battling out that second spot with Sheffield United. We've seen this story before, haven't we? I think, and it sounds very arrogant, but with the money spent, the 49ers, I mean, you can talk on this as well, but it feels like the 49ers, as owners so far, have done a good job stateside.
I think they have. I mean, we've questioned a couple of things, but I think it kind of plays out that they are making good decisions.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the decision to bring in our, you know, the midfield centre back with the long name, I think it's a sensible signing for this moment, because we're just kind of, you know, we're down to 2 first-team midfielders. Rodon was on a 1 yellow away.
Yep.
We need an injury, and we're in a little bit of trouble there. So I think that was a sensible signing, and I do think that they are making good decisions, although we can't always see what they are, especially compared with previous owners. I think they're doing the right thing.
And you've been a 49ers fan for 30 years.
I have,
How have you seen?
So I'm not biased at all.
And the change that you've seen, the change you've seen at Levi's Stadium, how they've come in, you know, and done such a good job.
You know, there was an article on everything they'd done to that stadium, you know, and the detail for so many things was unbelievable. So if they can bring like a part of that to Leeds, you know, we'll be in better shape for sure.
And the facilities as well, obviously around here, in the States, the Niners seem to have done everything around the stadium as well, you know, resources, facilities, seems to be top notch, and I think that's what they're looking at Leeds, isn't it, Steve? And you're feeling to compare with what it is stateside, it's on a completely different level in terms of like advancement, and I think Leeds need to get to that stage. I think the stadium's stuck a little bit, and once again it's Premier League ventures, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean you've got to have a good owners to make it happen. And I do think we have one of the best owners now, relatively speaking, and I feel that they are making good decisions, and if we can get promoted, then I'm really excited. Because it was a bit.
Do you think that's when it'll kick on?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it was a damp squib, unfortunately, last time. Yeah, I do. I really think that they are good owners, and if we can get back to the Prem, I think it will take off. Before, our owners seemed to do the right thing to get us to the Premier League, and then the bad decisions just started kicking in one after another, when we all saw the downfall of that. You know.
Yeah, we did, and that is a big thing. And I think when it comes to the 49ers, it's big for Leeds' globalized market, isn't it? It's, you know, you've seen Al Tanaka come into Leeds, the midfielder, and you've seen suddenly there's a bit of a Japanese market there to delve into. But you do feel with the States, it's just if they can crack the US market, if they're able to do that when Leeds in the Premier League, it'd be huge, wouldn't it?
It will be huge. Very exciting, yeah.
And you'd expect to see us as well tour as well, wouldn't you, in the States quite a bit in the Prem?
I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, we were going to tour as we spoke about, but obviously that didn't happen when we went the wrong way in the league. But I mean, I really think the 49ers will take us to another level. But we've got to get promoted this season. And as you say, we don't want to be messing around at the end of the season. We want to see us maybe March time, early April, ahead in the race, and feeling and looking good for for promotion.
Well, I think so. Well, guys, we will leave it there. We're going to be doing a watch along tomorrow, and this will probably be outdated because we are doing this show, and I think this is going to be on the international break. But it has been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Steve, do you want to do a little bit of a call to action to some Leeds fans, maybe in the Tampa area, who are maybe watching one Leeds and thinking, how do I get down there? What do I do? How do I get in contact with Steve?
Well, any of you that are watching, yeah, it's going to be too late to come to the game tomorrow because you won't see this till after the game. But yeah, we are at the Studio Public House in St. Petersburg. It's a great bar. They really look after us here.
A little bit of a problem with Mikey, though, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, the owners are not a Leeds supporter. We'll just say that.
That's all we'll say.
He does look after us, and that's why Connor's here, because it is a great place to stay in general and visit and watch, as I said, the most charismatic team on the planet, Leeds United.
100%. Right, okay, so get yourselves down here, everybody, and if you're even in the Florida area and you fancy just jetting down, see Steve and the gang, they're pretty much here every weekend to watch Leeds United. Make sure you do so. And yeah, guys, we'll see you in a bit. Cheers.
Cheers.